Hello, guys, gals, and my non-binary pals. It is Tyler, Michael, he, him, his here, and welcome to the Restricted Pokemon Draft League, where it is time for us to ask the question, did we just draft the perfect VGC draft team? I don't know. We're gonna find out, aren't we? We're here. I'm so excited. We have just finished our second draft ever. So we're like a pro now. We're no longer a beginner. We are living our dreams. We are in the Restricted Pokemon Draft League Pearl Division, which is a beginner's league. Even though I'm no longer a beginner, I am a professional now. Here I come, world champion. But we're just going to talk about our draft and analyze and wonder if it may be perfect. Who's to say? But let's get a little bit into the Restricted Pokemon Draft League, shall we? This is a minor draft league. It is VGC draft. So for those who don't know, that is you can bring 6 Pokemon every week and 4 of them battle. There's 16 teams, so not 24 like last time. So that means there's a bit more Pokemon to go around. We each have 11 Pokemon. This is a point system. I'll discuss that really quickly in just a moment. And what's special about this league is everyone gets 1 restricted and 1 mythical Pokemon, which is very exciting. The restricted are sort of the ones you see on the box, your Groudons, your Kyogres, your Dialgas, things like that. And your mythicals are like the fun Mews and Mewtwo's and Celebes, things like that. So everyone gets 1 of those. You have to take 1 of each. So of your 11, 2 of those are already taken and 1 is your Gigantamax, which is super cool. What is special is that those restricted and mythical Pokemon cannot Dynamax. So it adds a little bit of balance to the league. I think it's brilliant and smart and a fun way to include those Pokemon without making them the ones you Dynamax every week. And also is cool because a lot of lower tier Pokemon only succeed when they get to Dynamax, so it gives them some sustainability still, which is super exciting. But it is a point system, which is a little weird. So the first one we did was tiered A, B, C, and D. This time, every Pokemon is a point from 1 to 18, and you get 125 points, and it's just like, go do the thing, which was terrifying. I'm just going to show you a little peek of what it looks like. So here's like a little bit. This only is like a small section of it. The highlighted blues are all of the restricted Pokemon. The highlighted purples are all the mythicals. And the yellows are the Gigantamax. So as you can see, you have to really be smart about which Gigantamax you take because some are more expensive than others. We all have to take a mythical and a restricted, which are on the higher point tier, so like you're gonna be wasting some points anyway, but yeah, this is just it goes all the way down to 1. It is simply a time with an 125 Pokemon, 11 picks, so you're averaging about 11 points per Pokemon. So that means that for every 18 point Pokemon you take, you're probably gonna have to take a 1 or a 2. But great, here we dive back into what our expectations are. Sweet. So here are my priorities. Besides the typical priorities of like, I want a Firewater Grass, I want the Fantasy Core, I want some Priority, I want some Redirect, blah, 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 all that stuff. Here are the 6 things that like I'm focusing on, having learned from my first draft, to try and apply here. And if we can nail all 6 of these, we could be one step closer to that perfect VGC draft team. We will find out. But here are the 6 things. Let's talk through it. Versatility. I want versatile Pokemon. I want Pokemon that can do tons of different things, that have a bunch of coverage, that you don't know what they're going to bring each week, that can be physical or special, that can be support or be attack, that can Dynamax or not. I really want to fill my team with stuff that my opponent has to overly prep for each week, because the more they can bring, the better. Number 2 is, since that restricted and mythical can't Dynamax, that means that I'm really looking for some support in those Pokemon, right? Like support mons tend to not Dynamax. And so what can I find in my restricted and mythical to make them support the rest of the Pokemon I do have, right? So I'm not going for full offense on these. I'm going for things that can like help out the rest of my team. Number 3 is lower or middle picks early. Something I did in my first draft is I like got all my 1s, got all my 2s, got all my 3s, got all my 4s. And then by the time I got to 4s, all the good ones were taken, right? Or things that would work well with my team. So I want to make sure that I get some of those lower picks early so that I get what I want and help support my team. This number 4 is special for this league specifically. Fake Out is so good in this league, and I don't know if everyone else is really recognizing how important it is, but if your restricted and mythical can't Dynamax, it is a safe Fake Out into them, right? Like they can't Dynamax. They can't stop the flinch. Like, you can fake out with one, hit them with a Dynamax move in the other, and just knock them out. So I'm really going to prioritize at least 2, hopefully more Pokemon with fake out, because I think it's just a little bit broken in this league, and I want to be able to capitalize on that. 5 and 6 are definitely things that I'm focusing holistically, and this is good for all leagues, but I found that was not super great in my first draft is there wasn't the synergy I wanted. The team wasn't working together in a way all of the time that they support each other and also cover each other's weaknesses. So I'm looking for synergy in ways that making my Pokemon all mesh. And also, I want that draft deep. I want my opponent to fear me bringing all 11 of my Pokemon, right? So this is where it goes, getting those low points early so that I can get ones that can justifiably be brought every week. And so I want my opponent to not know which of the 11. My first draft was a little too top heavy. So this one I want to dive into some deeper draft. But that's it, right, folks? Let's just dive in and show you what you got so we can start figuring out. And today's, this draft's drink is not sparkling rosé like last time. We've got a little gin and tonic with a little elderflower liqueur, a little peach bitters. Ooh, this is... Oh, living the dream. A little celebration, shall we? But let's dive in. So we actually have pick number 2, which is crazy because that means we get the second pick and then we super wait for a long time till our next pick. But that also means our picks are really close to each other always. So our first one's isolated, but pick 2 and 3 only have 2 picks between them, pick 4 and 5, etc. So I could really get things in pairs, which is super useful. And there's a really great position. I would rather be at the end of the draft, but we'll take the top. So let's show you what we got first. Pick number 2, my first pick went to Kyogre. I had to take it. It was 18 points, but it is one of the strongest restricted in the draft. I was definitely debating between Kyogre and Zamazenta, which I know is weird to take so early, but it has such good support options in this draft. So I was feeling conflicted, but there was definitely a person in the draft eyeing that Zamazenta, and I am a sweet baby angel, so I could not rip it from them. But we took Kyogre, who is a beast. What's cool about Kyogre is it's a rain setter, so we automatically have a weather option set and ready to go. It's bulky as fuck. It's so strong on that side, so it can live hits even not Dynamax, which is great. And also, it's just an offensive pressure you have to worry about. If you don't prep for a Choice Scarf Water Spout, like, I could just run through your team. So Kyogre's here, feeling good. Pick number 1. It was 18 points, so at the top you'll see how many points the Pokemon was and how many we have left. We went big, we went bold. Our next pick, our second pick, was Jirachi. I decided to get my mythical done early. I wanted to not wait on these 2. There were not a bunch of mythicals I really felt great about having on the team. And so when I saw this still available, I decided I had to snatch it. Jirachi synergizes super well with Kyogre. The rain helps protect its steel typing from fire attacks. It's got a broken helping hand. It's got a broken iron head. It is like 60% chance of flinching. It's so good. It's got some great support stuff. It's got some great offensive stuff. It's a Trick Room setter and also a really fast Imprison user. So like, it's good. It's here. I feel really great about picking it up, which is great. The third pick, which was right around the corner, is I actually went double steal, which is strange, and I went for Celesteela. Celesteela, as soon as I got Kyogre, is what I knew I wanted to snag. While I do already have 2 steel types, which is sort of the like, don't repeat typing, it's about specifics, right? Like, Celesteela doesn't have that ground weakness because of its flying weakness and Jirachi's psychic side. It doesn't get affected by fighting moves too bad. So while they are both steel types, they are very different steel types. And Celesteela is just so cool, right? It can be a physical attacker. It can be a special attacker. It can be stall. Beast Boost can do all sorts of wonderful things. I think this Pokemon is super hard to prep for, and I definitely had trouble prepping for one in my last draft, so I knew that once I got Rain to cover its fire weakness, that this baby was going to be on this team. And this is the thing that I'm really excited about, is like, Rain mode does not mean Swift Swim, right? Like, you don't only need Pokemon that go faster in the weather, you need Pokemon that are supported by it. So Celesteela in the rain is super bulky and super great, especially when paired with my next pick, which is Raichu. I went down to the 11 points to snag Raichu nice and early. Raichu is so good with both Kyogre and Celesteela. Its Lightning Rod protects it from any lightning moves. It is also just such a good support Pokemon, right? Like, you've got your Charm, you've got your Eerie Impulse, you've got your Screen potential, you have Speed Swap. You have so much going for it. I will say, I looked at Raichu like 4 times and I was like, is this what color Raichu is? Like, I guess I just don't know. I feel like the anime was always focused on like Pikachu, and so I never actually got a good look at what Raichu's color palette was. So I've definitely been looking at this and it just feels wrong, and I don't know why it feels wrong. Also, maybe this picture is wrong and it's just not the color Raichu is, but we have Raichu. And what's great about Raichu is it can be Assault Vest, it can be Focus Sash. It's got a lot. So we're 4 picks in, and we have some great synergy with these 4 already. They're working super well. We've got some great type coverage. We've got a little speed control with Electro Web. We are here. Sweet. So we've gone up next. My next pick crowd is boop. Ludicolo. I decided I wanted to grab a Swift Swimmer right away. And I didn't want more than one. I just wanted one to support Kyogre. And I definitely was sitting there and I was like, wait, do I want Ludicolo or do I want Kingdra? And I think Kingdra on the whole is likely the stronger Pokemon, and they were both still on the board and the point difference wasn't too much. But Ludicolo gave me a couple of things. One is it gave me Fake Out. So bing. Oh, Raichu also gives me Fake Out. So I am 5 picks in and I already have 2 Fake Out users, which is goal. Check. When we go to variety, Ludicolo has great coverage. It also is super great because it can be special or physical. You can run Swift Swim. You could also run Own Tempo with Swagger. And so I definitely wanted a Swagger user on this team. But it's just so good. And I think it's really good defensively. It's really good offensively. It's got some great stuff going for it. And especially if you get it in rain, it can just do work. And something that I really like is I'm like stealing from the VDL teams that beat me. So like I lost to a Celesteela, I lost to a Ludicolo. So I'm like, those are mine now. Those are strong things that I had trouble building against. But Ludicolo's here. He's a cutie. What is weird, and I've said this already, is like this thing doesn't get Helping Hand. It is big old hands, and it does not get Helping Hand. But it is what it is. So take stock, taking a deep breath in. I looked at this and I said, great. I feel really good about our rain mode. We have a really nice rain mode already set. We have Kyogre, Raichu, Celesteela, Ludicolo. I don't really need to focus on that mode anymore. Jirachi does give me Trick Room, so I can start building that out as well. But I looked at this and went, great, I have a mode I feel comfortable with. My next pick, I'm going to go down to the lower points because I just want to snag something early, and I don't feel like I'm pressed to get anything right now. So I went for Morgrim. Morgrim is so good for 6 points. I absolutely had to get it. I absolutely had to get it early. Everyone else was still getting their like 10, 11, and 12 point picks, and I went straight for this. Baby. Morgrim is ridiculous. First off, it gets us priority Swagger. So we have Prankster with Swagger for Ludicolo. So we already have another mode set and ready to go. Its screens are super great. Also, in this draft, especially like sort of thinking about Fake Out being really useful, we get our 3rd Fake Out user. So we have 3 Fake Out users. I feel really good about that in the books. Trick Eject button is really useful here in this draft in general, because since each team's Pokemon they can Dynamax is a lot smaller now, because you can't do your restricted and mythical. You will likely have 2, maybe even 3 support Pokemon that you're not really going to Dynamax. Like I'm not expecting a Meowstic to Dynamax. I'm not expecting a Sableye to Dynamax, things like that. What that means is that since your choices of Dynamax are limited, it is a lot easier to Trick Room to eject button, switcheroo eject button something, because your choice is easier. Like if I'm facing down a Gigalith and an Excadrill, I can like guess that Excadrill's gonna Dynamax, but I don't know between the two. But if you're in front of me with Groudon and Venusaur, well, I know Groudon can't Dynamax, and I can guess that Venusaur might, so I can go straight for Venusaur. So I think it was a priority. Screens are great with this. It's super wonderful. It's a great budget pick. It does what it wants to do. It's honestly bulky enough with Eviolite or Focus Sash, and I don't really have anything besides Raichu that needs the Focus Sash, and even then Raichu can run Assault Vest or other options, so Morgrem's on the team. And also it's like a 6-point pick that's going to come a lot, so be prepared. Amazing. The next pick is Blaziken. So I knew I wanted a fire type next because I had a water and a grass type I felt good about, and the fire types were starting to go and I was starting to feel worried. Blaziken was one that I had not been eyeing, but then really thought about it, and it covers a lot of bases that I feel awesome about. It can be special or physical attacker, so you have to prepare for both. Its coverage is ridiculous. It gets so much coverage, and also its ability to boost its own speed is awesome. So it's got a great offensive typing. It really wants to be Dynamaxed. It has so much coverage for it, and it can just suddenly like speed through you. And I think it's definitely a threat. And I think especially in a world where like I do have a Kyogre and a Celesteela and things like that, you're going to have to focus on those or they're going to wreck you, and that might buy Blaziken a turn or two to speed up and just run through your team. You can also Baton Pass to slow things. I think I have to double check if you can. There's no way to Baton Pass. I need to make sure we can do that. But it's just so good. I feel great about having it on the team. Amazing. So here we are. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is actually a moment where I stopped and I knew the 4 I wanted left. I knew exactly what I wanted. I had exactly enough points to get all 4 of them. And I think this is where draft gets really interesting, is I had to start picking the order I was going to pick them to prioritize getting them. I looked and I knew the Dynamax I wanted, but I was like a Gigantamax, but I was like, you know what? There's a Gigantamax I want, and there's a Pokemon without a Gigantamax. There's a Gigantamax I want, and then there's another Pokemon I want that has a Gigantamax form. So my thought was if one of those gets taken, I can just swap them around so I can get Gigantamax A and Dynamax B, or Dynamax A and Gigantamax B. So I sort of was like, and a lot of Gigantamax were already being taken, so I was like, I'll push that one off. As I was looking through the teams, especially what's cool is being in the 2 pick is like, I knew that one of my next 2 picks wanted to be a Trick Room user that was low points. And I saw that the person who picks between my picks already had 2 Trick Room users. So I was like, I'll save that one for later and I'll just go for something else, which is Dragalge. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but here's why Dragalge's here. It's slow, and it is a special attacker, and I knew I had a slow physical attacker I was going to pick down the line. So this is here. It's got really good coverage. It's got poison and dragon typing, which is really awesome. It helps cover those fairies. I knew what I was going to pair it with as a Trick Room user once I had gotten it, so it definitely could run a weakness policy. It can Airstream up if it wants to be out of Trick Room. It's got a lot going for it. What's also cool is like, especially with these slow Pokemon, Raichu can just speed swap them and bring them up. I've never used Dragalge before, and so I'm excited for it, and I think its typing defensively and offensively is pretty good, and it's got some stuff going for it, so we're going to see. And I paired it beautifully with Bronzor. Bronzor is so good. It is 3 points, and 3 points, motherfucking well spent. It is a great Trick Room user. It is bulky. It is a 3rd Steel type, but once again, like the Psychic means it's not weak to fighting, and I can run Levitate or Heat Proof based on what my opponent has to set myself up for that. You can also just like Levitate and stick it in Rain, and it's not going to have too much of a hard time, but it pairs so well with Dragalge because it does get Bulldoze, so it can pop a policy on Dragalge, make Dragalge even slower, and wreck through things. It can also just set up Trick Room and then start spamming Hypnosis. It can also speed swap, which I think is super juicy. So I can like set Trick Room up and then speed swap with like my Kyogre and just get Kyogre to be super slow in Trick Room. There's some moves, but I felt really good about it. Amazing. So that's what we got. And then rounding out the team, our last 2 picks. These are the ones that I could flop either way, but all of the Gigantamaxes were picked, so I could leave it for last. So I went for Butterfree. I did have Gigantamax Butterfree in my other league, and I wasn't super interested in repeating, but I honestly haven't really brought it, and I think it could be much better in this league with what we're facing. So I felt good about bringing Butterfree back. It's Rage Powder, it's Tailwind, It's sleep powder. It's got some things it can do, and I'm definitely going to bring it a lot more. And I felt really good about it. So it's here on the team. There's not much to say about Butterfree. It's also just, it's a little cutie. But I could also just like screw teams up with like Choice Scarf Butterfree with like a Tailwind or a Sleep Powder. And so I'm excited about that. And then the final pick of our team, which I am amped about, is Gigantamax Snorlax. I think normal types are the most broken in these draft leagues. Their only weakness is fighting, and a Dynamax, a Max Knuckle is not strong enough, especially on a bulky boy like Snorlax. Snorlax, especially with Butterfree, can just like belly drum up and do work. It can be in Trick Room. It can get speed swapped with Raichu. I can't believe it was left this long, but as I saw the Gigantamaxes falling, I was like, I think I can just wait, which is so great because I got to pick a bunch of other things knowing that I had something glorious waiting for me in round 11. And this is why getting those middle picks and low picks early is I still had 13 points in the my last round was 22 rounds was 24 points, where a lot of people had like 6 or 5 points left. I was still drafting in the big boys. It's really fun. It's really exciting. Its coverage is incredible. I feel really great about it. So that's the team. Let's do a quick just like recap of what we've got. Here are the 11 and their speed tiers. So we have a slow ass 23 all the way up to a 110 with Raichu. Ludicolo can get Swift Swim, and so that 70 can be 140. Morgram has Prankster, so I'm not too worried about its speed tier, and Blaziken can speed up. Just like our last draft, I feel super confident about all of our speed tiers. We have a 23, a 30, a 44, and a 61 down low. We have 80, 90, 100, 110 up high. We have 3 fake out users. We have a really nice type coverage. We do have more repeats than previous, but those repeats are covered really nicely. And especially we do have a bit of ground weakness, but like Butterfree is just going to like rage powder you into its flying type and you'll be doomed. So I feel really good about this team. It feels balanced. It feels like it has synergy. It feels like its speed tiers are sweet. It feels like it's prepped to do a lot of work in this league. So here are our 11. Ooh, is it the perfect VGC draft team? I mean, no, it's not. But anything for clicks, am I right, friends? I'm so excited. I hope you follow us. We've already done our first 2 matches, and so I've just been lazy. But check out the team. Check out the RPDL. I hope you've been enjoying these. If you've noticed anything I've missed, please let me know. I am definitely like a baby when it comes to trades because I'm like, I've worked so hard on picking these 11. I don't want to trade any of them. But if you see some weaknesses or some holes or things, just let me know. But that's all I have to say. Cheers, friends. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. And thank you for joining us as we have chatted about our team. Okay, bye.